Alright, so I got the tailstock of my lathe removed, and in order to set this up on the Bridgeport to drill the holes for the wiper holders that I made the other day, I'm going to have to remove the bottom portion of it. And I believe how that's going to be done is there's two bolts in the side. These are the adjustment ones, but this is the one that holds it together. So I'm going to remove those and hopefully separate the bottom base. Coming off pretty easy now. Alright, that's good. It looks like there's a little bit of, I thought it was rust, it's just old oil. It's not chips, that's paint. Alright, so I'm going to clean all this up. But I got the pot we need to put in the Bridgeport. Alright, let me get rid of this. So here's a little bit of what I was talking about when I talk about some of these lathes that were built over the pond, far side over the pond. They're really good for precision, but their attention to detail is terrible. And like on this one right here is a huge burr that nobody ever filed off. This edge right here, these are razor sharp. Nobody hit them with a stone or anything like that. So we'll touch all this up. This didn't slide very well at all when I adjusted it a long time ago. It was really hard to adjust. So we're going to clean all that up. We're going to make this adjust nice. Alright, so what we're going to do is we have two of these and they're exactly the same. One will go here and one will go on the other side. We're going to have to use something to line them up, and then they have to be just set back just a little bit so that the felt, it's not right up against the way. Okay? And then we'll drill those, and they use a little smaller, I think they're a 5mm screw. These are 1/4-inch holes, and that allows you to move this around a little bit. Put a little more pressure on the felt. Alright, and we'll cut all new felts for them, and well, new. We're going to cut felts because they weren't here at all. The old ways were wipers were rubber. I'll show you one. So these are the old wipers, and these are for the carriage. So obviously there's a little bit different design over here because you got a smaller way rail. But they were rubber, and they just started to disintegrate. They weren't even touching the way anymore. They were adjusted all the way down. I'm putting felt in. And there is, you know, a controversy out there of what's better, felt or what's better, rubber. Probably a combination of the two is better. Felt with a little rubber overlay would probably work really well. I'm just going to put traditional felt style wipers in there. Alright, so let me get this all cleaned up. I'll get my precision flat stone and touch all these surfaces up, and we'll get it ready to set up in the milling machine and drill a couple of holes. Alright, so I took a parallel, put it on the bottom where it touches the ways, and I measured from this surface to the parallel on both sides. It's within 1/1000th of an inch, which is nice. I measured the clearance on the wipers that are on the carriage, and it's about 28 thousandths that they sit off of the ways. So I got a little piece of cardboard here, and this piece of cardboard is 30 thousandths. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put this here. I'm going to line it up using the optivisors where I want it, and I'm going to mark one hole in the center, which I already did. Okay. I'm going to drill that hole. I'm going to line it up with a wiggler. I'm going to place this in the vise off this back surface because it is true. Line it up with the wiggler, drill and tap that hole, and then I'm going to move it 812.5 thousandths, which is 13/16. I think I said earlier it was 7/8. The whole separation, it's not, it's 13/16. So I'm going to do the same thing with all of them. I check the opposite side. It's the same thing. It's about 1/1000th difference. So this is a low precision situation. This is felt. The screws that are used in the other side are 5 millimeters. The outside diameter measures 190 thousandths. So that gives me 60 thousandths, 30 thousandths on a side. I can move this around 30 thousandths in any direction. So that's more than enough to center these up where I want them. So that's how I'm going to approach this. I'm not going to make this any harder than it has to be. Alright, I'm going to go set this up in the mill, and I'll see you then. Alright, we're out here in the garage, the Bridgeport. I was able to put this in a vise. I'm about maximum height that I can work on. Milling, not a problem. Or drilling right from a collet is not a problem. But anytime you need to use a drill chuck or something like that, it takes up a lot of room. And what makes it even worse is if you have to tap. Okay, so I'm about as high as I can go. Now, so I don't have to move this up and down a lot. I'm going to use this little tiny Jacob's chuck that fits in a, I think this one is a 5/8 collet. So I'm going to use this little drill chuck right here that fits in a 5/8 collet. Okay. And we're going to use the tap follower. That should slide up into the collet quite well. I did want to use my 174 Starrett tap wrench, but I can't because the tap doesn't have a center hole in the top of it to align it. You can flip this around and there is a cup side, but it interferes with this tap wrench, so I have to use this style. If this was a little bit thinner, I could have done it, but I can't do it with this particular one. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to set this up with a wiggler. How I set this up was I took a piece of round stock. This is drawn over mandrel. It's pretty true all the way around. Make sure there was no nicks and burrs on it. I put this into the V groove, and then I took the level and put it on top. And I'll tell you, it was almost dead nuts sitting right on the bottom of the vise. I was actually quite surprised, even with paint on it. So that lined up pretty good. So like I said before, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to find my first hole, I'm going to use the wiggler, I'm going to drill it and tap it, and then I'm going to move over 13/16 and I'm going to drill my second hole. Because I know those plates are exactly 13/16 away because I made them, all right? And I did them on a digital readout. So that's how I'm going to locate those. Once I locate this one, it should be very damn close to where it should be. All right, so let me get set up and I'll bring you back. I'm using a quill stop. I'm going to go deeper than I need to go to make sure that I don't have to use a bottoming tab. Alright, so from here we're going to move 812.5 thousandths. Lock the table. 812.5. Alright, I'll blow those out with an air gun and come in and get set up for the tap. How I can take this tap handle off and use the 174. And I got plenty of movement. I got plenty of adjustment. Okay, we set up and tap the other one. I'll do the rest of them, and I'll meet you back at the bench. More than enough. Alright, I'm going to wash this up and I'll bring it over to the bench.